I encountered a lot of unexplainable things, losing moments in time, lots of very vivid dreams, and seemed a little supernatural.
Have you ever been afraid of your own abilities, like the power you hold over someone's subconscious?
I have, and money is all energy. That's why you can look at people that you think are the scum of the earth, but they're super wealthy. It has nothing to do with morality and whether you're a good person. It has to do with...
You think there's people out there that would call this witchcraft?
I mean...
the devil's work?
So...
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I have a real treat for you. Ronelle St.Luc. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am killing the game. You are the first episode in the new studio. How does that make you feel?
I love it. I feel so special. I mean, today it was raining. I got caught in it. I was like, okay, I'm getting blessed by the creator. Now I'm in the new studio. I love it all.
Amen. Folks, if you guys don't know who she is, you can follow her on Instagram and TikTok under @Mystics Manna Hypnotic. Her website, mysticsmannahypnotic.com. And her email, if you want it, activation@mysticsmannahypnotic.com. She's the founder, obviously, of Mystics Manna. Is it Manna or Mana?
It's Mana.
Manna Hypnotic. She's got a bachelor's in business, master's of science, has 3 certifications in Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique, and is a level 3 Reiki master. Raised in a tough New York neighborhood, spent 2 decades in the tech industry and corporate environments before finding her passion and purpose, creating Mystics Manna Hypnotic. Her platform now helps high performers and entrepreneurs align with their highest frequency. And she's written a book, Magnetic Union, which explores how sacred partnerships is a divine assignment, not just a fantasy. Unbelievable. So have you ever been afraid of your own abilities, like the power you hold over someone's subconscious?
I have, and I have to kind of rewind a little bit and kind of go back to my childhood where I encountered a lot of, unexplainable things. Like, so for instance, I might be waiting for the bus and to head home, and I would get home, but I didn't know how I got there. Like, I was losing moments in time. And when I started explaining to my mom what was happening, that I was having, lots of, disappearing moments of time, lots of very vivid dreams, and just things that seemed a little supernatural, I'll say, it clicked for her because it was something that my grandmother went through. And I was raised in a highly religious family. I grew up Roman Catholic. I went to Catholic private school from, pre-K all through college. And even my mom, before she met my dad, she was, in the middle of becoming a nun before she met him. So the Bible, God, religion was very ingrained in our family. And it's because of that, and my grandmother knowing that she also had gifts, she saw them as being bad because the people around her, because they didn't have specific gifts, they thought it was bad. So she essentially renounced it. And it created a sense of fear, needing to hide because I wouldn't be accepted by other people. And given that I grew up in a really tough neighborhood and the people around me were in survival mode, I thought, well, why am I going to make my life more difficult by standing out? I need to just blend in. And it wasn't until about 2 or 3 years ago where, my gifts really started presenting themselves and started feeling a little bit more active. And it was to the point where, Ronelle, you can't ignore this anymore. Like, God was making it very difficult for me to live this very safe and very sort of mundane and average life, because essentially I wasn't following my calling. I wasn't following what I was meant to do here. Yes, I was successful. I had a great career. I had, I have all of these degrees. I have all this education, but on the inside, in my home and in my spirit, everything else was falling apart. It's like I had this perfect picture outside, but everything was not copacetic inside. And so for a period of time, yes, I definitely hid quite a bit, and I was afraid of, who I was. But then I realized, how are you whole? You're not whole. You're not sovereign if you don't accept this. This is gifts from God. This is given to you by God. You're supposed to do something with it. So step forward and own it.
How is Mystic Manna Hypnotic different from other spiritual businesses?
I think that, I don't lead with that love and light garbage at all. And it's because I've had a very tough life. Like, I constantly say that I'm a phoenix. I've gone through so many rebirths in this lifetime. The person that I was 2 years ago is different from who I am now. And it's different from the person I was 4 years ago, 10 years ago. And I don't try to sugarcoat things. I talk to my clients, and when I speak on my platforms, it's from a very, off the cuff truth. It's nothing about love and light. Yes, there's love and light, but you can't get to love and light without the darkness, without the shadow, without the pain. It's your ability to go through those painful and uncomfortable moments that allow you to bask in the love and the light. You can't skip one to get to the other. And I think that a lot of spiritual businesses, they try to make you feel like you're crazy if you feel the emotion of anger or fear or that you're not good enough. We're still human beings, but we have a spirit, we have energy, and we have to acknowledge that yes, we have to experience those darker moments, but don't live in them. Don't simmer in them. Accept them for what they are and the lessons that they're supposed to teach you, and then move forward towards the light. That's how you get to the love. That's how you get to the light. And I think that that's what makes Mystics Manna Hypnotic so different, is that I'm not judging you for that. And I think that that's why a lot of people don't seek out help like in this realm, because they're afraid that they're going to get judged for it again by someone else. So many people are judging you already. Why add on to that?
Yeah. Do you ever feel like you're crossing into something supernatural, or is hypnosis like all science?
I mean, hypnosis is very much scientific, but I think that when it comes to a lot of my offerings, so like activation, when I even do Reiki, there are plenty of people who do Reiki, but I found that in my sessions, they're very different. I'm channeling something different, and everything that I do, I tell everyone, it's all creator focus. I give all credit to God. These are gifts that were given to me that I'm supposed to use. Everyone doesn't have the same gifts that I might have. Someone might have something different, or might be, stronger than I am because they've nurtured it. They've really harnessed their gifts and they're really in touch. But when I practice my offerings like activation, like I'm really going down into people's trauma that they don't even realize that they have, programming that they don't even realize that they have. So many people do not realize, for instance, that money is all energy. That's why you can look at super successful people. Like some of them might have the worst characters. They might be people that you think are the scum of the earth, but they're super wealthy. It has nothing to do with morality and whether you're a good person. It has to do with your openness. So are you open to receiving? Are you confident? Like that is what money is attracted to. It's not attracted to people who are playing victim or have this sense of scarcity. Like you're basically telling money, you can't hold me. So why would I come to you? I'm going to go to the person that can actually hold it, that can receive it. That is, whether they're doing, something good because they want to do it, the impact that they have on people, whether it's with a service or a product. You could get a service or a product that is provided to you by someone who is morally corrupt, but the energy is creating something positive for someone else through that product or that service. So therefore money is going to come to them. And my services, like I said, I really dive into that piece of it. I dive into the drama. I dive into the programming through these, somewhat traditional modalities, but I'm looking at it from a different lens. I'm looking at it from that scientific lens. I'm looking at it from the spiritual lens, from the creator lens, and trying to co-create something with the creator that will actually help this person that has come to me to move forward with their mindset changed, with more confidence, more trust in themselves, and believing in something bigger outside of themselves.
Mm. I always say, if you want to increase your net worth, you have to increase your self-worth.
Exactly.
Would you agree?
No, I mean, that's 100% it. And, there's so much disruption. There's so much chaos going on around us. There's so many voices who say that I know this, I know that, I'm dominant over you, or I'm superior to you, that you lose your natural gift that we all have, which is your sense of knowing who you are, knowing what your capabilities are, knowing that you come from the same energy as our creator. We're made in his image. Why don't you believe in that? Like everyone is just clouding your thoughts and you forget that. And that's how you spiral into these habits of, lack, thinking that you're not worthy, that you're not enough, that you don't deserve things, that life is so hard because you've lost that gift that you've been given, which is your sense of knowing and knowing that you're tapped into this ultimate, source of energy.
Well, I think if everyone knew that, they'd be much better off.
They would be much better off. But, at the same time, it's like we are human beings. Like I said earlier, we're going to feel these emotions. The thing is having enough self-mastery to not dwell in those things. Feel them, like give yourself the grace. I'm angry. I'm sad. I feel worthless right now. Feel that for 5-10 minutes and then wake yourself up and say, no, I'm grounded in the creator. I come from the source. I'm here for a reason. Whether it's big or small, I'm here to do something. Let me ground myself in that. When you anchor and you focus on that one thing, it makes a lot of this less disruptive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you think someone who is struggling, how does someone who is struggling build a legacy on just self-worth, not external stuff?
Well, I think it starts off with not burdening yourself with the weight of comparison, right? Because when I think about my life and what I thought that my mission was, as I was growing up, it was, okay, you're going to be the first person to go to college. Okay, I did that. What's next, right? It was like, all right, well, now I'm going to get my master's. Well, what's next? There's all these different evolutions. And I think that it's important that people realize just because someone is having a journey that you might be envious of or that you might aspire to, doesn't mean that they got there right away. They had to take these, baby steps. Yes, I acknowledge some people, they shoot into that right away, but you have to acknowledge your journey is going to be different from everyone else's. And when you start acknowledging that and you focus on, okay, here's what I'm going to accomplish today. And then you accomplish that. And then it becomes, if you've got that fire still, hey, I think I can do more. And you identify, well, what's the next goal? And you focus on that. You start caring less about the validation of others, because then what happens is, because you're in that right frequency and you're in a state of surrender and you say, God, creator, you've shown me this vision, right? I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there, but I come to you not because I want you to change my destiny or because I want to tell you what to do and because of what I want. I'm coming to you because I want your guidance. Show me how to get there. Like, what's my next step? When you start focusing on those things and you focus on that connection that you have, the validation of all these other people doesn't matter, because the creator starts surfacing opportunities, starts putting you in rooms that you didn't think that you were going to be in, opportunities just start appearing. You just start feeling more abundant and you start feeling more aligned because you're focused on what it is that you're supposed to do, what your goals are supposed to be, and less about what this person is doing over here or what they've accomplished over there.
What do you think when people, they don't have a good sense of what their calling is? Like, how do they find their calling?
I mean, I tell people what I did, and I asked, because it's like, I went through this huge sort of spiritual awakening. I mean, after years of hiding and sort of denying who I was and being very stuck in, traditional success And I was honest with myself. Like, I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. And I asked the creator, I was like, tell me what to do. Show me what to do. And because I was receptive and I was open and I was showing that curiosity, it's like things that I was using every day, like social media or the internet to get information or YouTube, etc. Things started popping up for me that way. It's like, I love a good tarot reader, and people that I wasn't even following would just start popping up on my feed, and the reads would sound so in line with my life. And I'm like, wow, maybe I should be doing this. Well, how do I do this? How do I start? And that's what led me to quantum healing hypnosis therapy. I had never heard about it. I didn't even know what past life regression was 2 years ago. I knew nothing about it. And I just saw a Dolores Cannon video and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. And I clicked on the link, and then there was like a 50% off sale for like their certification. I was like, wow, I feel really drawn to this. And that's the thing. When you are so focused on trying to get to that level and trying to understand what your purpose is, regardless of whether you have the time or the money for it, when something comes up to you, you're gonna move. You're gonna be like, okay, the creator is putting this in front of me for a reason. Let me act. The thing is, most people, they doubt. They don't act. Oh, I got to pay this bill. I got to do this. I got to do that. And what I tell my clients or people who are thinking about working with me, the best investment that you're going to make is in yourself. The rest of this doesn't matter. When you're trying to buy the clothes, the car, the watch, all of that, that's all for validation from other people. When you're really grounded in, I have a purpose. I may not know what it is, but I'm dedicated to figuring that out. Mm-hmm. All the money, like you could have this bill to pay. Your bill can wait. I'm going to invest in this course, or I'm going to pay, I don't know, for this golf membership because it's going to get me in the room with, like-minded people. It's going to give me an opportunity to network. Like, that's what most people have to remember. And, I relate to this so much because of how I grew up. I was raised by a single parent. She had to work 2 jobs. I lived with my aunt and my uncle because she was never home. My mom was just paying for private school for me because she wanted me to have like an education. She wanted me to have opportunity. She wanted me to be around people that were doing more. I understand not everyone has access or their parents don't have the ability to do that, but those were sacrifices that my mom made for me. And I wasn't going to squander that. Yes, I kind of followed that traditional path, but when it came down to figuring out what my purpose was, I realized I need to invest in me. Like, God has invested in me. My mom has invested in me. There are people in my life who I feel have invested in me from a knowledge perspective. So why would I not invest in me? And I think that's where people need to get to. Stop worrying about all this other stuff. It's going to come. Invest in you first.
Were you financially well off when you just blew out the tech career and
I wasn't. I literally had lost $1.5 million in investing. I felt like God was really making life uncomfortable for me because I had gotten to a point where I think I had hit a cap in terms of the level of success that I was going to have living that life, right? And I think that, one of Dolores Cannon's teachings is that Earth is a school. We're here to learn lessons. And in this lifetime, you're going to learn so many lessons. And with each lesson, you're going to evolve in your consciousness, and your life can look completely different yesterday from today. And I wasn't listening, right? I had gotten to a place of comfort where it was like, okay, I was making X amount of dollars. I was able to buy whatever I wanted. I was able to retire my mom like in 2010 and just take care of her and give her everything that she wanted. I didn't have a reason to leave. And then God started making things very uncomfortable. Like, the people that I was around on a regular basis were consistently judging me, projecting on me. People at work were doing the same. Like, I was having bouts of depression, crying, needing to take leaves of absence. Like, he was just making it really tough. And then the real hit was losing the money, because that was what created the comfort. You know, this little nest egg that I had that I was building, like I had it one day and it was gone the next day. And I was like, WTF, what am I going to do? I really can't leave my job now. And then God made it harder and harder and harder. And I asked, I'm like, why are you doing this to me?
What was your job?
So I don't want to give them any advertising, but I worked at a pretty popular social media company that's in the news quite a bit. And I was a director of program management. I had been in production. I'd worked in pharma for a number of years. I had been with this company for about 8 years, and I was making really good money. You know, I was comfortable. You know, they gave you all the perks. You know, in addition to your salary, you got the stocks every quarter that vested every quarter. You know, they pay for your dry cleaning. They pay for your dogs to get groomed. They had on-site, you know, healthcare. Like they just gave you all of these things to keep you there and running the machine. So it was very comfortable. Like, and I'm a single woman just taking care of my mom. I'm like, well, this is the life. I'm making more money than I thought I ever would. I have the ability to invest. I have the ability to take my mom on multiple vacations a year. I had no limitations. And God said, no, I'm going to take this all away from you, and you're going to start over again, because you've already learned whatever lesson you needed to learn. And now I need you to go over here. I need you to now start focusing on this. And it was a really hard decision for me, because at the time, monetarily, I was going through a very hard, rough patch. I hadn't experienced anything like that since I was a child, when I didn't have any kind of control over the money that was coming in. I had felt like I built this really solid life, and it just got taken away from me. And I get asked that question a lot. I had to go on faith. I had to believe that I was going to get it back, and that I was going to get it back 2-3 times fold, because I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to do. And I get emotional about it because I still feel it. It's like there's part of me that, like, when I think back to that time, like I thought I was doing the right thing. And it's not that I wasn't doing the wrong thing, but he helped me to see that, no, there's more for you. You're done here. It's time to move on to this mission now.
That's good. So you're hypnotizing people sometimes, yeah?
Yeah.
So what happens if you like hypnotize somebody and they reveal secrets or say something they don't want to say, or do something they don't want to do?
It's all confidential, and I have documentation that people sign. And, you know, when people come to me for, let's say, past life regression, where I really kind of take people into that theta, like hypnosis state, or even for activation sometimes, so that they're not like crowded by distraction and their mind is not moving so much, so that the energy healing can work. Everything is videoed. I record everything. They know what they're walking into. These are not people that I have to convince to come to talk to me. You know, I offer opportunities to just have, hey, if you just have curiosity, hey, let's talk for 15 minutes. Let me answer all of your questions. Like, nothing that I do or any kind of advertising I do, it's just my reels. It's just videos of me talking. I'm never salesy or trying to market to people. Folks come to me if they feel inclined to come to me. So like, if there's any question or if there's any concern, you know, I make sure to answer those questions, because this is the thing. I'm meant to be a safe space. And for a lot of people, that doesn't exist. And ironically, a fair amount of my clients are actually men, where society imposes this being dominant, not crying, not showing emotion, not, you know, showing any kind of vulnerability. And it's so ironic to me, because both men and women, when we're born, we come into this world crying, but yet, you know, one set of people are told never to cry again, never show any kind of emotion again. Like, at some point, holding all of that in, it not only is going to have an impact on the body, it starts having an impact on the mind, and it starts having an impact on your ability to show up as the best version of yourself, because you have not given yourself an opportunity to have any kind of release. I like to think of it as when you're really hot, like you forgot to bring your bottle of water, or it's like 115 degrees, like it gets here in Vegas, and your car is parked 2 miles away. Like, is it weak for a man because he's walking to his car in 2 miles? The fact that he's sweating in order to cool off, does that make him weak?
No, makes him a human.
It makes him human, right? So why are these safe spaces not created for men to release emotion? We have to release emotion. That is a very human thing. It has nothing to do with, your masculinity, your ability to show up as a man, to show up as a high performing man, to provide for your family, to create safety for your family. You've created as a man a safe space for your family. So why can't your family in turn, or your friends in turn, create that safe space for you? And a lot of my clients, they come to me because unfortunately they don't have that safe space to be able to release. And being able to release is just part of your function as a human being, and to be able to present yourself in the best way possible to the people that depend on you, especially if you're someone who knows that you are meant for more and want to create a legacy and want to have impact on people in a really positive way. Like, that outlet has to exist. And I really center my work on that, being able to give people that space. They know that they can trust me, that things that they say to me or things that happen in our sessions, it's in our session. It's built off of trust and mutual respect.
Aren't they ever like embarrassed?
Oh, certainly. Of course that, but I take a lot of pride in how I start off relationships with people that, come into my offerings, especially if they want something big like past life regression. I'm like, hey, we've got to talk to each other first a few times. I want you to understand who I am, why I'm doing this. And yes, I'm vocal about it on social media, but I'm building that relationship. You're becoming a part of my community. Like, I want you to know that you can trust me, that there is care here, that I am heart-centered. I'm doing this because I want you to get the best out of it. It's all about your elevation and being able to go out into the world and be the person that you want to be.
What do you think? What benefits do people see doing this past life regression?
So it's actually pretty interesting, because I had a client recently that's been sort of sticking with me for a bit. It was about a week ago. She actually flew in to see me versus doing it virtual. And she's been struggling with her weight for quite some time. She'd be classified as obese because she's about 415 pounds or so. And she really wanted to understand why she feels so much comfort in not only just eating uncontrollably, but just in her weight. She said that, my doctor says this is not healthy. These are all of the things that are happening. There's like a laundry list of things. I don't want to violate her privacy, but she wanted to understand, why am I this way? Because logically, I understand this is wrong, that this is not healthy for me, but yet I get a sense of comfort from it. And when we started going into her past life regression, we went into a life where she had leprosy and she was suffering from leprosy. And as we progressed through the session, we were also progressing through the degeneration of her body as the disease was taking its course. In the session, she was feeling the pain of feeling like her pinky, her pinky being diseased and needing to be cut off. Eventually her hand needing to be amputated. Eventually her arm needing to be amputated. And what we discovered was, through going through that process in that session, the weight that she has now, it's her spirit's way of protecting her. Like she had no protection from the disease. She had to walk there. There was no cure for leprosy, right? As far as I know, there isn't a cure for leprosy, but it's not something that you hear about very often. But the weight gave her a sense of comfort. She felt protected from the world. It was something that she could control because in this past life, she had to watch herself go from this very attractive woman to someone that was watching day by day or week by week, parts of her body just be diseased and fall off. And she had no clue why she had been chosen to suffer from this disease.
Do these powers run through your family or certain families or like?
So my grandmother definitely had some power, but like I had mentioned, she had renounced it. And what's been so interesting about my own journey, it's as I help to heal and to guide others, I'm also learning so much more about myself and I'm integrating in real time. I am being placed in rooms and environments with people who are also fueling me and teaching me and nurturing me and helping me get to the next place of attunement and, really fortifying my power so that way I have more control over it and I'm able to really dive in with my offerings and really be able to help as many people as possible, even when it comes to the frequency of wealth and attracting that. I'm supposed to be working with a few folks in a couple of weeks that practice Reiki and do sound healing to do a group wealth frequency activation to help people sort of pull away from some of that program and start, getting them to that place of being more open, more receptive, and aligning to the energy of money. So these opportunities that were once closed to me because I was hiding now are just coming towards me in abundance without me necessarily doing anything. It's more about me being myself and, sound healing is great. Sound frequency healing, we all need that. And it brought me to this place and into conversation. And then, wow, I found another person to add to my community that I can learn from, but who can also learn from me. And I think that that's the thing with this business and just people in general. When you have curiosity, right? When you are not set in your ways, and even if you can't understand something because you can't perceive how it functions, but you're open to the possibilities that there's more, you start noticing more and more things coming into your energy field. And you're like, oh, wow, now I understand.
Can you teach people to do that or do you have to have the gift?
No, I mean, you can definitely teach people to do that. I think that the main piece of it is the curiosity, right? Because there are a lot of people out here, they think they know everything. You can't teach them anything. Like they know everything about life and money and love and how everything operates. And, okay, well and good for you. If that's working for you, great. I feel sorry for you because the world is so much more expansive than this bubble that you've created for yourself. But I also think that, and this is not to trigger or insult anybody, but that says a lot about, your spirit and, your comfort level and your drive. Like, I don't think we're always learning. You're always going to experience something new. You're always going to meet someone who's got a different journey. So if you're sitting around thinking that you know everything, you've already lost because you're already capping your own potential because you think you've got it all figured out.
That's right. My bomb button not working very well. Do you think clients have to believe in this for it to work? Or is it one of those where they have to believe in what you're saying?
I think it's just openness.
Like if I'm like skeptical and I came to you, do you think I would leave less of a skeptic?
I think you definitely leave less than a skeptic. And again, I don't think it's about belief. I think it's about curiosity, because curiosity is you acknowledging, hey, I have some reservations about this, but I'm opening to learn. I'm open to, hearing your perspective or going through this experience for myself, so that way I can at least say I've been through this. And if my skepticism holds, I've had the experience, I learned from something from it. I've potentially made a new friend, whatever it might be, or you get your mind blown. And then it's like a leaky faucet. It's like, okay, the drip now becomes a flood. It's like, oh crap, this has opened me up to wanting to learn more about this thing or go down this other path. And I think that as long as you have curiosity, like, you're ahead, because curiosity is what opens doors for you.
Have you heard of, I think it's Akashic records?
Mm-hmm. I've heard of it.
So are you able to read those?
I have not attempted to do that type of work. And honestly, it's because I haven't felt called to it. I'm aware of it. I have someone who has gone into my Akashic records and taken me through that, but it's not a modality that I have felt a calling for. For me, the calling has really been towards energy work. That's why when I talk to people, I'm always talking about energy and frequency, and because I'm tying it to the fact that we ourselves are energy, and everything is about our vibration, what we're putting out there, and how our mindset, how our emotions all impact our energy and our frequency. And that's why I do Reiki. That's why I do past life regression, because everything for me is about helping you figure out, where have you created this ceiling or this cap that's keeping you from being able to move forward? Like, what has created the rose-colored glasses that seem to be blinding you from everything that's in the periphery?
Don't you think people eventually get fed up and just make the choice to change? Do you think they're always going to be stuck? Or do you think sometimes people can accidentally find their way into it?
So I don't necessarily believe in accidents. I think that there's going to always be something that triggers the change, but I think there's definitely people who choose to stay in a comfort zone, even when the comfort zone is complete crap. I mean, again, another triggering topic. Look at the people who, pass on Section 8 and welfare as though it's a trust fund. Like, these are people who have given up. These are people that, they choose to, just stay in victimhood. And, yes, there's a sense of comfort because, other people's tax dollars and, work is providing a home and all of these benefits to them. They're like, this is not the life I want, but hey, I'll deal with it. So there's definitely people who have that mindset of just like, whatever.
You think there's people out there that would call this witchcraft?
I mean,
the devil's work.
So I don't necessarily believe in the devil. And, I think that heaven and hell are really human constructs. They're just part of like the programming. I mean, I think one can make the argument that we're living heaven and hell now. I mean, when you consider, a lot of what we would consider really negative or really bad things that happen on a daily basis, that could be considered, hey, living in hell in this moment. I'm not familiar like with witchcraft, so I can't like speak to that. Cause like I said, everything that I do is, creator focused. When I pray, I'm not praying to some entity or, a demon or whatever it might be. I'm calling on the creator. I'm calling on the source. I'm calling on God. Every question that I ask is, of him. And nothing that I'm doing is, putting things together. And it's just me and my energy, and it's resulting in a specific outcome. And so no, I don't consider it witchcraft. And I think that the people that would label it witchcraft, unfortunately, these are the people who, again, they are capped, 1. 2, there's a level of envy, because whenever someone sees someone who is different, they automatically want to place a label, because that's how their mind can, sort of compartmentalize or create some sort of understanding, and they lack the curiosity to actually dive deeper and ask questions. I'm someone who never shies away from a question. I'm a normal person. It's just, I so happen to dabble in this.
How can you believe in God, but not the devil?
Because to me, God is the ultimate source. Like, he is what is woven into everything. And to me, when I think about the devil, it's as though you're saying there is this other entity that is on this equal playing field with the all-knowing, the all-source that is on the complete opposite spectrum. In my mind, it is people that have created the devil in order to have a scapegoat for the things that they do that may not be, positive, or it's a way to kind of judge others. Oh, you must be aligned with the devil because you did X, Y, Z. And again, when you kind of anchor to source has created all of this, everything that is in existence comes from the source, and the source leads with the heart. The source leads with light. The source leads with love and evolution. It is people who come in with, perhaps lack of morals or maybe a fractured character because of the experiences that they've gone through. And it turns them into people that we don't necessarily think are good, that create this, part of our world that is really negative, that is really low frequency, that isn't about the uplifting of their neighbor or their family member, let alone humanity. Like, if anything, I would say that, okay, they're the devil. They're the ones that are living in this lower frequency. They don't care about anything or anyone but themselves. And therefore it leads to them, doing really, can I curse?
Sure.
Really shitty things. And I mean, it's like, I'm not going to blame that on some entity called the devil. Like, put the onus where it is. It's on the people who do fucked up shit.
So you would say you're more spiritual.
I'm definitely more spiritual. And like I said, I was raised Roman Catholic. I went to church every Sunday, and I still feel called to go to church.
Well, the Catholic Church says there's a devil.
Well, but that's, I am more than just the religion, right? Because I acknowledge that there is a common thread amongst all of these religions.
Yeah, so
and
do I.
That's the source.
I think there's truth in all of them, because there's a fragment of the creator in all of them.
Right.
And I think the way they were fragmented was man trying to convert it to their own. Well,
right. It's about dominance and superiority and power. And that's why it's so ironic, because, I respect everybody's religion and what you want to believe, as long as you're, putting positivity out in the world and you're having, a positive impact on people. And like I said, it doesn't matter how big or small your impact is. Your impact could just be on your circle, just your direct family, or even, direct family and friends and people that you work with. But if you're at least impacting people positively in a way that they move forward into the world, that they're pouring back into it, that's great. But it's so ironic that, I myself, who is so accepting, I run into so many people who are not accepting, that are, quote unquote, very religious, consistently judging me. And I'm like, you're doing the counter of what God wants you to do. Like, who are you to judge me?
Have you ever received like backlash for quitting your job and following this from family or anybody?
So I got it from friends, and, I've had a couple of friends who said, hey, I'm uncomfortable with your path, and they couldn't really give me a reason why. And I'm like, well, if you're uncomfortable, you're uncomfortable. Like, clearly you're not meant to move forward on this path with me, because my path is aligned with the creator, and this is what he's telling me to do. And so I'm going to do it. If you can't be a part of it, then there's no need for you to be a part of it. I don't have any kind of resentment. I don't have any anger towards them. I mean, we're at a point where the soul contract has ended, right? You have fulfilled whatever it was you were supposed to fulfill in my life. I've learned whatever lesson I needed to learn from you. It's time for you to go your way. I'm going my way. And I've even had, professional opportunities where, at first we had great conversation. I have my other book, Quantum Wealth, Unlocking the Energy of Abundance and Prosperity, that I was supposed to turn into an audiobook. And I had a really great conversation with a producer. And I was like, hey, you should just go to Amazon and, just check out like the summary of what the book is about. 9 a.m. we had a great conversation. By 5:30, I can't work with you because it goes against my religion. I'm like, what? And so I called my friends. I was like, hey, can you go to my Amazon page and tell me if you see anything in that summary that's weird? And the only thing my one friend said was like, well, maybe did they get triggered by the word ritual? I'm like, why would you get triggered by the word ritual? People have rituals every day. People get up, they shower, before they touch their phone, they meditate, they get their coffee, they do like, what could possibly trigger you? And so again, I give those people grace because they're just not ready. They don't have that level of openness yet. And, one can only hope that at some point, in divine timing, when it's right for them, that level of judgment around something that they may not quite understand will turn into the curiosity to actually have a question, a conversation, or ask the question, versus placing immediate judgment just because you don't quite understand it.
Do you like have a bank full of money from this, or like how's it been going? Like, are you getting a lot of business?
It's actually been going really well. I'm actually surviving off of it, which is, and that's probably the wrong word, but I'm able to take care of myself. I'm able to take care of my mom. I'm able to take care of my pets. And if anything, more and more opportunities have been coming. And again, it's like I said, I'm not being salesy about anything. Opportunities present themselves, like being here.
Why don't you be salesy?
Because it's one of those things where, at least for me, I want people to come in because they want to come in. And I think at a certain point when, I've got enough clients, or maybe I've got like a repeatable program, perhaps, then I'll be like, hey, I want to attract more of the masses. But right now I'm so grassroots at this point and really focus on the building of the relationships. And, what I was about to say was like, being here is a huge opportunity for me. Like, I've been following you for years. And then when your podcast came out, I was like, wow, maybe one day I'll be on here. And the vision came to me like, you're going to be on this show one day. I was like, how am I going to be on this show? And then, 6 months ago, I really was like getting flooded with like your content on a regular basis. And I was like, man, I would really like to be on this show one day. And then a trainer that I follow was like, damn it, he's on the show. How did he get on the show? Why can't I figure out how to get on this show? And then one day, an ad popped up and I was like, oh, let me go ahead and fill out the form. Let me figure this out. And here I am.
Do you think that's manifestation or just positive frequency and vibration going through the universe and connecting with mind? Because I believe mind's positive.
No, and that's the thing. And it's interesting because I was having this conversation with your producer before, but it's like God planted the seed, right? Back when I wasn't even doing this. And I was like, wow, I would love to be on that show. But I was like, how would I ever be on that show? What am I going to talk about? I work in tech, right? And then I surrendered. I didn't think about it. And then finally, when I started doing this, I really started focusing on it. I was like, wow, how would I get on this show? And I threw that out there because I believe that our words are, our magic wand, what we say, what we think. The universe hears all of that. I mean, the universe is God's creation. So therefore, it goes right up to God. I was like, how would I get on this show? And he connected A to B. I surrendered. It wasn't like I was doing a ton of research on how. It was just like, wow, how would I get on Dropping Bombs with Brad Lee? And then the opportunity presented itself. And so when it comes to manifestation, it has the word man in it. And for me, manifestation still has a little bit of a component of being ego-based and being controlling and being dominating. I use the word manifest a lot because it's what people can understand. My phrasing is co-creating. I love to say we are co-creating with the creator, because in that phrase, you are basically saying, I surrender to God's will. I might want something, right? But he might have something bigger planned for me. So I flow with his will. Whereas with manifesting, I want this. I'm going to say these affirmations 10 times a day, and that's going to get me to what it is that I want. A lot of times people who use the terminology manifest, they don't realize that they're actually co-creating because they've surrendered. They're in a frequency of receiving. They're listening to what is coming to them, whether it's through breath work or meditation and visions that they might be seeing or dreams that they may be having, or what we talked about earlier, that inner knowing, like I feel it. And that's the big part of manifestation and co-creating, is being able to feel the thing. There are people out here, they've got visions of, a $3 million mansion and a Ferrari and a Maserati and this and this and this in their car, but they can't actually create that in their reality because they can't feel it, because they've never had it. Whereas there's some people, they want those things as well. And even though they've never had it, somehow they feel it. And it's because of their knowing, because they know that they're supposed to have it.
How do people tap into that voice?
Well, it's the knowing part, right? It's like, look at your life.
But you got to trust it.
Right. But
like I've heard a lot of things in my head.
Yeah, you've got to trust it, and you've got to trust who you are, right? And the biggest piece of that is the distraction. What around you is distracting you? And I'll be honest, sometimes the voices that are most disruptive are the closest people to you. And I think that many suffer from this inability to be alone. And I don't mean isolation, because to me, isolation is trauma. Like, I'm going to run and I'm going to go hide and I'm going to isolate myself here. What I'm talking about is being able to be alone for the purpose of figuring your shit out. Like, I know things are not 100% okay. I need solitude. And in that solitude, I'm working on me. I'm investing on me. I'm doing activities that are pouring into me, that are going to allow me to identify what's working, what's not working. Where am I trying to go? How do I eventually get there?
You plan on doing anything after this, or is this the rest of your life you're focusing on this?
I'm focusing on this. And again, because I trust the vision, because I constantly see myself on stage. I constantly see myself speaking. I constantly see myself walking down the steps of a stage and going into the audience and magnifying and amplifying the energy of the people in that room who have come together for this one purpose of not just pouring into themselves, but pouring into the group. And when you are in a room where people who recognize that they are energy, that they recognize the power that they hold, and they all come together in one space, you feel that there is power in that. There is power in knowing that you are a powerful being and you are tapping into those God-given gifts, that magnitude that the creator has, that source energy. It's flowing through you, and there's no judgment. It's just pure creation in that moment. It's pure healing in that moment. It's release in that moment. It's believing in yourself in that moment. The power that you have, it can't be measured when you get to that place.
What do you think, like, what's the best advice for an entrepreneur who might be like in the wrong industry? They can't break through. They're feeling stuck. Do you think they should just jump industries? What's your best advice to entrepreneurs who are stuck?
Passion. What fuels your fire? Because a lot of people who are, they might be successful, like I said, because money doesn't care about whether you're good or bad, whether you're doing what you're passionate about. It's about, what are you passionate about? Like, is there a way to take your passion and, pivot it into something like a standing job? Do you have to create something? Like, you know, what is it? When you anchor to passion, what's going to not feel like work or feel like it's draining you? It starts to come. The clarity starts to come. And I will tell you, like, it's ironic that I say that now, because when I was younger, I didn't believe in any of that. I was just like, no, I'm going to get my degrees. I'm going to get this job. It pays this much a year. I had my little budgeting book. Like I was like, you know, an economist and like an accountant. I was budgeting everything in my book and writing it down. My checks were already spent for me, but I was like, okay, I'm going to have this type of life with this job. There was nothing passionate about it. Now I'm doing something that I have a passion for, that I feel in my bones. And it's like the first few months of doing it, yeah, I wasn't making any money. I didn't have any clients.
Did you question it?
A lot. If you're not questioning it, then then you're not on the right path. I think that you're constantly questioning, and it was not allowing the doubt or the fact that, you know, it wasn't materializing as quickly as I wanted. I couldn't let that go, because those are all tests.
But you also trusted yourself.
Well, it's not just trusting myself. I trusted God first. I was like, you wouldn't have taken away everything that I built to just put me in a place where I would just continue to sink. Like, God doesn't want us suffering.
That's a good answer. But Ronelle, a lot of people, they won't trust that voice. You trusted the voice. Like it's easy to say, oh, I trusted God. How do you know that voice was God? That's what most people are doing. They hear something and they're not quite sure. They think it might be like they're crazy, or they don't realize, hey, that might be God talking.
They need to shore up on their belief, because I had the belief. That's really what it is. Like, there's no fancy answer. Like, if you're questioning whether it's God or not, there's something more that you need to be working on. Like, do you even believe in God? Right. And there are people that don't. Right.
Lots of them.
There are people that don't, but I believe in God. I believe in the Creator. I believe in the source. And I believe that He's not going to put me on this planet to just be suffering. He wouldn't have taken away everything that I built just to be like, yeah, I'm just going to leave you like a leaf blowing in the wind. There's no way. And I'll be honest, like, yes, I lost everything. I had a little bit of cash. Like I had enough in my bank account to last me a year. And by month 5, things started happening to me. I kept doing the posting every single day. I started, you know, spreading out to different, you know, social media platforms. I made sure posting every day, talking to people. I was moving around. I wasn't just sitting and waiting, right? And that's part of manifestation, co-creation, is not waiting for it to happen. You've got to actually move. You've got to leave your house. You've got to do activities that are taking you closer and closer and closer to where it is that you want to go. And, you know, some people might not do what I do. Almost every step of the way, I paused and said, hey, am I doing the right thing? Should I keep doing this? And I would hear, yes, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You're not seeing it yet. Keep going. And that's what happens. A lot of people, they'll start something new. And then as it starts getting uncomfortable, where you're starting to panic, like it's not just me, where I could be like, hey, it's just me. Let me just do whatever I want. I have the responsibility of a whole other human being who is not at a place where they can go back into the work field and get a job and take care of themselves. I care for this other person. So it's not just about me. And I had to think about that too. And the answer was like, do this, go. And a lot of people, when it gets really uncomfortable, it feels really tight. You're like, oh my God, I've only got like 3 months of rent or 3 months of mortgage or 3 months worth of expenses. I need to give up. They give up right before the blessing starts to materialize. And that's the thing. Keep going. Even if it means you've got to, I don't know, take a job driving Uber,
be
have
homeless.
time, and I know someone who is in this field. He and his wife were homeless for a year, and he still was recording. They had a gym membership. They were showering at the gym. They had to get on EBT temporarily, but they kept doing it. They kept presenting themselves. They kept thinking about the life that they wanted to build. And now they're this duo that are online doing programs and doing all of these different things that are focused on, you know, manifesting and co-creating and really teaching people about the power that they have innately within themselves. Because that's the biggest thing. People don't realize how powerful that they are. It's just that they're so fragmented and focusing on so many different things, they can never anchor into it.
My bomb button's lame.
But the studio's not lame.
It's supposed to be a big explosion. Well, Ronelle, I appreciate you coming in. Folks, if you guys aren't following her, you can go follow her. As you know, she's got 2 books. Where do they get the books?
You can get both of the books on Amazon. So one is Quantum Wealth, Unlocking the Energy of Abundance and Prosperity. And the second is Magnetic Union, the Divine Soul Blueprint for Soulmate Love.
And they're out right now. Yes. And as always, till next time, keep it real.
That button works.
That one works. Almost hit the wrong button again.